country? Is that the country that we want our children to grow up in? That is not what we want. So we are hoping that once they leave the DPP's office with the charge sheet, they will come here, the case will be heard, and then after that we will be heading towards town, kwa sababu hii inaitwa the groundbreaking tuseme curtain raiser. Once we are done here, we are going to town. They want to impeach Gachagua. We want them to impeach Gachagua and Ruto. We will not take half. We will not take half. We will take the whole thing. We will only take the full thing. So we are hoping that the charge sheet will be brought from the DPP, and now we are waiting to see whether the case of Morara, Kebaso will be heard, and whether justice will prevail. If justice does not prevail, I saw this quote today in the morning on Twitter. If justice does not prevail, then if injustice is the justice that is there, then that means that the people have to stand up for themselves. We have to fight for our country, because you cannot expect a person in a Range Rover to come and fight for Mamamboka. They already lied to us in was it 2022? They lied to us in 2022 eti serikali ya Mamamboka. Mamamboka amefukuzwa huku town. Anaambiwa aende huko karibu Kayole. Tutakuwa mtu anaishi town atakuwa anaenda kufanya shopping Kayole. These leaders are using their heads wrongly, and that is what we are against. They want to give the Adani, they want to give the JKIA to Adani. Kwani hatuna engineers wana graduate hapa kila mwaka? How many aeronautical engineers have graduated every year in this country? All this is things that we want to change. We want Kenyans to build Kenya. We do not need an Indian to build Kenya. And they are arresting people for calling out all this. They are creating false. They are creating false stories to arrest people. They have ghost projects that do not exist. Walitoa majina zao kwa zile tuzita tombstones, because those are dead projects. Walitoa majina zao, and they are not coming back to continue with this project. So Morara called them out, and they decided to arrest Morara. So today we are here at Milimani Law Courts. Kama unaweza kuja huko nyumbani, tafadhali kuja. We need numbers, because we need to free Morara. We need to free Kenya from tyranny. So kama unaweza kuja, kama uko town unaweza fika hapa Milimani Law Courts kuja. Kama uko nyumbani unaweza fika town kuja, juu bado mapambano. Vijana tujalala, vijana tulali, tuko awake until we get the country that we deserve.
What are the charges do you think Morara will be facing today, according to you personally?
Kusema ukweli, sijui. Nobody knows the charges that Morara will be brought in with, because he was arrested for speaking, and I believe it is within the constitution that you express your freedom of expression, right? If it is not right, then they should cancel that from the. Then the constitution does not make sense. It is just a what do we call it? A fiction novel. The constitution of Kenya is now a fictional novel, because if they can do what they want, we saw that the acting IG had the audacity to defy 7 court summons, and then the same court that was defied, they decided that the prison sentence that he was supposed to get is supposed to be scrapped off. Where in the constitution is that allowed? Why is that allowed? These are the questions we are asking as Kenyans. We are not our parents. We are not afraid to ask these questions. We are ready. We are ready to face. We are ready to face death. We are ready to face bullets. Lakini tafadhali msinigeuze. Please. Whatever they did to that young man in Mombasa, we condemn that, and we condemn all religious institutions for not condemning that. How can you mnakubalisha wezi wakuje kwa makanisa zenu wazungumze wawapatie pesa? Are you preaching for money? Are you preaching the word of God or the word of man? So shame on you, religious institutions. Shame on all the churches that are supporting these politicians and letting them do as they please. Kenya ni home, man. Kenya ni home. Tuko pamoja.
So guys, that is what is happening at Milimani Law Courts.
No, we want to go, we were given 1 hour. to bring the church hawajaleta. So I think we'll go to the DP's office. Nikaeni hapa then tutaenda na wale comrade wako pale.
Kama una kesi
mimi naipenda na kama hawataka is a prominent lawyer.
Yeah, if there's no charge sheet, why did they
Unafikiria mtu wa kawaida? Ndewa si mtu wa kawaida. Huyu anadili mpaka na kesi na magavana national, hata hii akachagua.
waambie kama hawajui
Ni nini wanasema? Ndewa nikiwa hapa mimi am protected. Acha nitoe nini? Nikiwa na ndewa am protected. This is senior counsel.
And you know time is going.
You can't match.
Sawa, tunakuja saizi.
hii itapanda pesa. Acha nitafute mtu I make busy kitenani. Amevaa green. So this is the situation that is happening right now.
Niseme wote.
Kuja.
Niseme wote. Vile ndani tumia hizo nini saa hii?
Ongea.
Light kama.
Niko sawa.
Niulize tu swali. Je, nimeongea nini?
Sawa basi ongelelea what is happening. What is happening right now?
Okay, so hope mko poa guys, cause mimi siko fine. Tuko hapa Milimani Law Court. Today tumekuja, we are demanding for the release of our president, the 6th, Mr. Morara Kebaso. And wameamua kumshika. This is so bad. This is so arrogant of these people. We know people wenye wanafaa kushikwa wameachiliwa, they are just walking freely. Unaona? And remember, wewe mwenye uko nyumbani, you are seated, unatuangalia live, unacheka just posting Morara achiliwe and Ruto must go. Kumbuka all of us tunaumia kwa hii Kenya. Sijipiganii mimi, wewe pia unafaa kujipigania. And kitu nataka kuambia word of advice. Morara today ameshikwa. Why don't we all come out and fight? Kila mtu atoke. Everybody inject wherever you are. Let's not leave this work for Morara alone. Anahitaji support yetu. Si tu after kushikwa tunakuja kuongea. Anafaa kuwa sometimes akiwa kwa streets, akiwa Nairobi, wewe pia kuwa huko Kiambu mahali, kwa Embo, kwa Nyanza. Do the work. Don't wait for somebody to come to your rescue. It is now high time whereby kila mtu anaona shida inaendelea. Kama mtu ni mbaya, akiwa mama yako, correct. Akiwa ndugu yako, akiwa nendo mbaya, mwambie tu. Mambo za kuficha watu na tunaumia must come to an end. Mimi naye sina mambo mengi, lakini wa Kenya tuache upuzi. Tuache tu upuzi.
Kidogo tu. Na je, Waititu washafika ama?
Hapo naye sitadanganya because I'm not sure. Niko so much focus kwa Morara hadi huko zingine sasa. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
So kwa hivyo hujui kitu yoyote kuhusu Waititu?
Hiyo watu ya Waititu sija follow because mimi nimeamka saa 10 nimetoka kituo nimekuja hapa nimefika like 7. So I have not followed anything about that, just about that. Morara. Hao watajisort na wakina Wamalu, sisi acha tusort yetu kwanza.
Na nilikuwa na swali. Tuliona jana katika mtandao wa X na pale TikTok. People are rallying saying that watakuja kuandamana, but leo tumeona the turnout it was very low. What can you say about that?
Sindio, this is the stupidity that we have in this country. All that people do is looking for fame and numbers wakiwa live because wanataka nini? Wanataka watu wa join live zao. Usituambie because unataka followers ama unataka watu wakujue. Sometimes hata kaa usiingie huko hiyo live, just get out.
No.
Toka tu nje na ukuje. Saa hii tumefocus kwa Morara. Wakianani wanafocus kwa hizo mambo za shift. Inaendelea. Saa hii tumenyamaza. By the time itakuwa imepass, mtakuwa mnaanza kulia tena.
Na tuliona Peter Kioi na Kudotdog. Jana walikuwa wanachangisha pesa. kumobilize watu wapate kukuja huku leo. Maybe kuna watu ambao walibeba nao mabasi ama watu kujitokeza.
Mimi naye kikuwa kwa pesa.
Naam.
Hapo naye hapo naye sijui kabisa, labda anaweza jibu maybe. Tunajua mtu akiwa kwa pesa na pesa kwa simu yake haiwezi kuja aniambie generally pesa ndio hii nimetumia nini ni yeye ako nayo, and since I didn't even send him money, hapo naye sikushwa, labda anaweza kuendelea. But kuna vitu zingine hizo maandamano yenye ilifanyika day 25, nani alikuwa anakutumia pesa utoke kwako? Hakuna mtu alikutumia pesa utoke kwako. Kwani hii sasa lazima ulipwe ndio utokelezee? Mtu anaambia ako na pikipiki, ako na gari, watumiwe fare. Jana watu wenye wako abroad walituma pesa ndio hiyo. Sijaona mtu wa boda. Hakuna hata keo zinaendelea huko tano. Sasa mbona saa hii basi kila mtu anafaa kusafa, muumie kabisa, because this thing ni kama watu hawajali sasa. Hawajali kabisa. But this is so much pain. This is painful.
Kidogo tu.
Wenye hii Kenya inaendelea.
Morara asipoachiliwa mtachukua hatua gani?
Gai.
Achiliwa mtachukua hatua gani?
Anakosa kuachiliwa aje kwanza, hiyo ndo swali. Actually tutachukua, wataona from there. That's what I won't say. Wataona from there. Yeah, we won't say, but they will see. Tutachukua action. We won't say the word, but we'll take the action.
Action will be taken.
Yeah.
Na kuna watu walikuwa wanasema kuwa wakishamalizana na Morara akishaachiliwa mtaenda hadi parliament juu ya story ya Gachagua kuimpichiwa. Je, mtaenda ama?
Mimi personally, I won't talk about Gachagua. If they go, let them fall. Siwezi toka mimi na hii akili yangu kumbavu mimi niende ni protect Gachagua. Faida gani nitapata hata akibaki? Wakati watu walikuwa na wao kwa maandamano, was Gachagua not there? He was the deputy president, right? Na walikuwa na Ruto, right? Na ni Ruto alimchukua kama deputy yake. Those people are one. We can't be blackmail ati niende nisimame na Gachagua. Hiyo ni yake. Kila mtu abebe msalaba yake, aende nyumbani na kufuatane na Ruto wake.
The only reason tunaweza enda parliament ni juu tunaenda ku make sure Ruto na Gachagua wanaimpeachiwa wote pamoja. We are not going there to support Gachagua. Who is Gachagua? Mimi ni wa Mlima lakini akwende bana. Amenisaidia wapi? Watu wameuliwa, vijana wameuliwa wa hiyo Mlima. Yeye amefanya kitu yote. Endarasha shule zilichomwa, watoto wakapotea. Alifanya kitu yote? Hakuna. And now he wants us to support him. He can go to hell. In fact, no, if Mlima is hell, let him go to Mlima. Aende Zayuni. Because we are tired of this. We are not going to fight for these people, and we know deep down they will never fight for us. Kwa nini upiganie mtu hata wahi kupigania? Wejipiganie juu, that is all you can do. We are here fighting for Morara because he fought for us. We will go to parliament not to fight for Gachagua, but to fight against Gachagua and Ruto.
Yeah, I fully support his impeachment. Let him go home. After that, we work with Ruto.
Yes.
Yeah, I fully support the impeachment.
So but you want Gachagua to go home?
We want
he should have gone long time ago, not even about one thing.
The entire, in fact, if it is possible for the entire cabinet, MPs, police officers, chief, DCI, everyone, if everyone can go home and we start afresh, we are happy with that.
We want to fix the nation.
We want to fix the nation. They cannot sell our airport. We cannot lease our airport at an Indian company to come and fix our airport. The engineers wana graduate kila mwaka. Kwani wana graduate waende wapi? Ndio waende wakauzwe huko.
So don't only focus on Gachagua and Ruto. Do you know that your governor of Nairobi, Mr. Sakaja, aliweka 4.8 million kujenga choo Kangemi. Na umekaa kwa nyumba unalala. 4.8 million inafaa kujenga choo Kangemi. 4.8 1 2 3 4 hadi aingie 0.1 2 3 4 5 8. Alafu you still focus kwa hiyo. Huyo mjinga ni pole. Nasikia sasa inanipanda. Kuna swali lingine.
Niko na swali tu ya mwisho. Tuliona Raila alienda EU. Hii mtaona kama ataanguka ama
anguka nayo anaanguka. You know, Raila Odinga is a serial loser and we cannot expect him to win this time.
You are still asking about kama ya Kenya ndio memkataza hiyo atapata wapi?
Na akianguka je, mtafanya maandamano juu? Hiyo ndio kawaida yake.
Tunaandamania nini? Unless tunaandamana ile sherehe.
Tunaachia Nuru Okanga na Umoshi wana ataandamana.
Tunaandamana na watu wao watano. Sisi hatuandamani. Hatuwezi andamana. People died from was it July? People died in the first protest, in the second protest. And what happened ni huyo Raila alipata yeye na marafiki zake wakapata viti. And what did they do for the people of Kenya? Nothing. They remained quiet, akaguzwa hivi akaambiwa atapewa kiti ya AU. Hiyo kiti haipeanwi. Ruto does not have power in the entire Africa. So Raila unaanguka, and we will be here to celebrate your downfall. This is the last time you will be standing, and we hope you fall terribly. Terribly. Sisi kama wa Kenya tunaomba sana uanguke.
Sawa, asante. Twende huko. Mbona jana nataka twende? Naomba jana tuendelee kuingia. Sana. Hi. Press. You want to say something?
Umetusaidia sana, umetusaidia kwa mobilization. Hata saa hii hakuna mtu anafaa kushikwa na kiu ya maji, sababu hata mimi mwenyewe niko loaded. So wale watu wa online, tafadhali kama mnatusikia, kama mnatusikia, kimbieni hapa, mfanye hivi, kila mtu ufanye hivi, chorea, yani ufanye nini? Ufike huko Milimani mazee, ndio. Endelea. Unajua lazima ushike paka. Sawa. Jameni mazee, it's not late. Kujeni hapa haraka, kumbuka umoja ni nguvu. Wale watu tuko hapa, hata kuna askari tuko disappointed. Watu wako hapa hawajafika hata 300. Tafadhali kujeni, hata kama una fare, ukifika hapa itisha chicha fare. Takupatia fare. Chicha ni fare. Tunatumia mchezo ya kotini. Kodi yetu yenye tunalipianga tax yetu. Ruche shisha. So tuchangamuke mazee, tukuje kujeni kwa wingi. Najua kuna watu wengine nje, lakini alafu sio wakati kufika 300.
Hii ni life ya dawa. Tena Ruche wa mama Kedi, Ruche atona reveni Ruche. Na msitisho na mtu yote. Hapa tuko, hapa Kenya ni hope. Ni hope. Haijalishi ni askari gani. Sisi ndio tunawalipa mishahara. So don't worry about it. Niweke password kwanza wangu. Ebu tuma nini?
Naenda huko kupata simu.
Na wewe sichukua huyu by the way.
Picha kioi. Sio. Salama. Ndio unaoneka Nairobi bwana. I don't exactly how to appreciate. I normally nakaga hivi chini niangalia picha kioi. I'm about to appreciate, sijui niseme aje. But if people were to tell my story, I think you have the other part of the story. Kwa lakini
Kofiti sana.
sasa nikudungie kidogo bana. I know it's been a while.
How have you been, bro?
I am good.
Okay,
Jana. Napenda sana.
Nataka nikushikie.
Champion kamera ile chako hapo. Kamera za mbili. Mwingine anaweza kuambia itumikaje hapa.
Walikuwa napita nikiingia panda tika.
Afanya tundo nini?
Which one you capture?
Sawa. Karibu. Sawa.
Picha kioi. Labda tutueleze mambo yakoje sasa.
So far, the government has done nothing concerning the arrest of Morara. Only what they are doing is dilly-dallying games here and there, but we have been with them. We have been following their steps so keenly, so that we don't lose the track. But so far, so good. The Kenyans have turned out, and we are behind Morara. Team very strong, and we are strong. The whole Africa.
So Peter, you have been known of not losing up or giving up. What are your steps that you are making sure we are putting in place to make sure indeed hawajapata kuanguka?
One of it is I'm very confident about what Morara is fighting for. So having known that Morara is fighting for justice for Kenyans is my happiness, because justice and humanity has always been. So in this case, I don't need to benefit anything apart from seeing Morara out. But what we have put in place is that we have put a very close watch with the government, and again, we are ready to give out our physical support, emotional support, financial support, and moral support to Morara, so that actually he feels that he is not alone.
So what are the challenges do you think Morara will be facing today?
Maybe Morara will face this charge, talking the truth against the government.
So do you think that is an offense in this country?
It's not an offense. It's an offense when it comes to a country that is full of cowardice. It's an offense that it comes to a country that is of anarchy, and it's an offense that when it comes to impunity, but that is leaders who have no moral values in the society. To them, it's an offense, but to us, it's not an offense because we are seeing, all of us are seeing whatever is being projected. It's just the bitter truth.
So we are currently being told to wait. We don't know exactly for how long. What are the measures? Like what exactly is happening? What people want to know exactly because we are being told to wait.
They are buying time. Probably the government wants to launch something else or wants to divert our attention. But one thing I'll tell you is we have enough time. If they say wait, they have enough time for them. And they will act. And they fear no one and will not be contradicted and will not be intimidated, and we are not losing this. Yeah.
You speaking the truth. Do you think also you personally you might be affected exactly when it comes to being arrested somehow?
Being arrested, I have nothing to lose. So let the government arrest me, but let it stand with the truth. Yes, for the people of Kenya, we can fight. We cannot lose it.
What is the message for people of Kenya? But personally, before we finish, in case the government doesn't release that is Morara Kebaso,
Yes.
What are the steps or measures are you going to take?
We close this country, we wrap it up. We wrap the country and we forget about Kenya. Yes, until they release it. The next step is we are closing this country, total shutdown. Yes.
What is the message to Kenyans?
My message to Kenyans is that do not relent, do not give up, do not be intimidated, do not be even, do not be ashamed of coming out to speak the truth. Let us stand as Kenyans and let's fight for our justice, because justice is ours. Okay, we are the face of Kenya right now, because Kenya itself is a crime scene right now, and we don't fear anybody. If it is Ruto, we are the one who elected him, and we are the one who are rejecting him. So if it is about this government of Kenya, let it be wrapped, because it is just doing nonsense. It has no value in this country. No value. Let the country be wrapped off. And if it is a total shutdown, that is what we are putting in place. In fact, the government should know that we are just planning to do that. Yes.
Do you support the impeachment of the deputy government?
The deputy should go with the president. Yes. Let them go home.
Utafunguliwa kuingia ndani hapo.
Imeanza. Imeanza.
Niko ndo wameingia kotini. Acha tujaribu kuingia.
Ngoja hiyo. Kwa imeanza. Imeanza.
Mbona mziingia ndani?
Umeingia?
Na mimi niko live hapa.
Nani ameingia ma?
Sawa. Juu hapo hatakubali, acha ni
Hapo mimi.
Acha niona wenzangu.
Kujani Kerui, kujani mkague, unaangalia nini yao kama wanakubali.
Lakini kila station anarudiwa wangapi?
Moja moja. Moja moja wasiingie wawili.
Nje kuna mrembo. Morara bado hajaingia. Bado hajaingia. Morara bado hajaingia. Hajaingia bado, mwenye ameingia ni Malwa na nani. But Morara bado hajaingia. So guys, we are still outside. Magani huyu alikuwa anauza huyu. Magani. Jamani. Huyu ni nani sijui. Hata sijaona. Shida yake.
Alafu ya Morara na Chiri ni kutoa. Yote napenda kwa kutoa.
Kutoa ni yote.
Leo.
Really disappointed.
Hizi wanapata kuna bonto.
Sorry guys, but we can't enter inside. na mix bana. Mwenye kwa mlango hapo ndo kwangu baba.
Sijakuja hapa juu Kalonzo. Nimekuja hapa juu ya Morara.
David Morara Kebaso. Yes. Morara Kebaso.
Imagine.
Morara bado hajaletwa.
Case number 1024, David Morara Kebaso, alias Morara Kebaso Senior.
Eventually, they will have to expand this board.
That is a good one.
And I don't think they can expand the economy and the prisons.
So now we can't just sit waiting for some other person to resolve when the other is waiting now. So that we can move on.
1676 of 2019. Ana Cecilia Carranza.
Case number 1024, David Morara Kebaso, alias Morara Kebaso Senior.
Please record. Amaka Karua. For the Morara Kebaso together between Chini Wamama. Honorable Jeremiah Kioni. After Bashir. Janja Maina, there one Tiro. Oh, sorry, I forgot that we are taking manual. Janja Maina. Tiro. Eric. Deuli. Mareno. Solomka. Nurdin Kakai. Willis Otieno. I hope I have introduced all that are present. There are more. There is Bishop Edumo.
Present, Your Honor.
Getahi Quincy. Getahi is not present. Who else is present and I have not introduced?
Yes, Oringe Waswa.
Patrick Navin.
Present.
Michael Wanyama. Omboko Charles. Kyoko Mwende. Anybody else have left out? Yvonne Akini. We are ready to take the floor.
So you are the one reading the thing?
Yes, I am ready.
So will everyone be speaking or
If I leave something out, but if I don't, you will appreciate the nature of the case. You know, I would not want to downplay.
I wish we had more space. Habari yako? Unaitwa nani?
Maybe move a little so that he is properly visible. Thank you.
Which language do you speak?
Your Honor, on behalf of the prosecution, since there's, together with my Ondimu, together with my colleague Ms. Maika, Ms. Kerubo, Mr. Kirago, and Ms. Njoroge.
I've not yet seen. Before we hit the plea, I'm going to ask all of you to just a silence. Reading that gentleman. Please just step back so that the give it his space. Yes, you can.
Honorable signatory, and the place that you have not been brought before you, yet in the business.
Your Honor, there are two different files. Once we are done with this, definitely will be produced. I don't know why I think they're in the same file. I'd indicated to him there are two different files.
Morara, Kebaso, Kenya. These are your charges. Your charge is cyber harassment, contrary to section 37 of Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes, Act number 5 of 2018. Again, on the 28th day of September 2024, at Shalom Grace, within the Republic of Kenya, make sure you let us know before court while using X account dumped at Morara, Kebaso, Kenya, you knowingly, without lawful excuse, posted false information to which I quote, William Ruto approached DL Langat and told him he desperately needs more money for campaign. DL Langat used his property as security and took big loans to help his friend. Right now, DL Langat is being auctioned by banks, and the person who is buying the property is William Ruto. To make it worse, William Ruto has used to undervalue the property to buy them at a cheaper price. That is the kind of a person we are dealing with. He has no friend. Contact whose information you knew to be false and calculated to punish and discredit the reputation of one David Langat. Is it so not true?
Before he pleads, it looks like there's a mismatch in the charge sheet and that it may not be worthy of pleading to. I will be asking you to reject it under 89. If you look at the charge sheet and the particulars, if at all any name was to be punished, probably it would be that of William Ruto, if the particulars were not true. It would not be the name of David Langat. So what is the fear of putting the name of William Ruto as the complainant? This is a very, and you can see, I don't know how it has been drafted, but if there was a name to be tarnished here, the person who is looking like ungrateful and not quite a friend would be William Ruto. So I'm urging the court to read the charge carefully and reject it, because it doesn't, something is not adding up in this charge sheet. Even if we go to trial on this, and even if David Langat comes, it will not be sufficient without William Ruto as a complainant.
Yes, Your Honor. Just to be precise on what you answered. Just to be precise on what the senior counsel submitted on, there is no doubt that the particulars of a charge sheet must be able to inform the accused person what he or she is pleading to. And that the particulars of an offense and that the particulars must speak to the alleged offense. They must clearly square out the subject of the complaint to which our client has been brought to you to plead is one Mr. William Ruto. And therefore, if the offense as drafted does have any meaning in law, to the extent that our client is able to respond either positively or negatively, the particulars must relate to the subject. To that extent, Your Honor, this charge is defective, it's not worth the paper it's written on. and our client is not able to leave it as the particulars do not inform on how he should leave. It does not disclose who is the complainant. Is the complainant Mr. William Ruto or is it B.L. Langat? And this is so important, Your Honor, and fundamentally important and Article 50, in the sense that we shall be requiring the statements of the complainant at the trial or at the fullness of time. So if a charge sheet is jumbled up as it is, Your Honor, it's only causing embarrassment to our client and to this court. That's for you.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes,
Your Honor, if I may, the charge sheet brought before you this afternoon, Asha.
And I saw that we don't take a lot of time on this.
Yes, I'm only raising one issue. I'm only raising one issue. That the alleged complainant here is also not a witness. I'm wondering how the two police officers will be the witnesses in this matter. Yet the complainant is not. So I humbly submit, like my seniors before me, that this is a faulty charge sheet and should not see the light of the day. Thank you.
Your Honor, I will make a very short statement.
Yes,
I'm Willie Sutien. An accused person under Article 50
Yes,
under Article 50 of the Constitution, an accused person has a right to be informed in sufficient detail of the charges proposed against him. Sufficient detail. What is presented as a charge sheet if you look at the count 1, it talks of cyber harassment. But look at the particulars. That is where the devil lies. And where the devil lies, it sets out a purported ex post, but proceed to show you where he's sleeping. Content whose information you knew to be false and calculated to tarnish and discredit the reputation of one David Langat. This speaks, Your Honor, to a question of reputation, not harassment. And if it is reputation, it's defamation. If David Langat or William Ruto thinks that this post has injured their reputation in the eyes of right-thinking members of the society, their recourse is in the civil court. They sue for defamation. And criminal defamation is no longer applicable in our legal system. So that if the particulars presented before your Honor
Mr. Otieno?
Yes.
We don't know whether they are going to be reporting this one with blood pressure. So you need just to check on your voice so that we can
And we talk like the bottom. I know sometimes I sting like a bee. Let me try to the bottom of my own. I'm not a jet. So, Your Honor, that's all I do. The particulars disclosed in the charge sheet speak to defamation, which is a civil wrong. The count in the charge sheet speaks to cyber harassment. There's disconnects in the two. So will Mr. Morara be required to respond to the count of cyber harassment or the particulars of defamation? That charge sheet, Your Honor, should not be registered at this particular point. And the state can advise the complainant that in relation to reputation, the Chief Magistrate's Court Milimani exists, civil division. You can go there. In relation to cyber harassment, the complainant should come with better particulars, not these ones. So having dissected those two, the particulars of the charge and the count on the charge sheet, Your Honor should exercise your discretion and refuse to register this charge as presented before you, and direct that Mr. Morara to be set free forthwith, unless otherwise lawfully detained. So this is prejudicial at the outset. That's all.
very, very kind commission. Just a moment. If I write everything, if I say the whole thing.
That's what justice is about. That's what it means.
That's the challenge with us lawyers. We respond to what we don't do. We don't know what our going to say. So I'll be writing manually because we have not set up the gadgets. We didn't know this case of this nature coming today. So now just for your information, because now the gadgets have been set up, I will now not be writing. But please, when you speak, say your name at the beginning and use a microphone. So we'll have them transcripted.
It's a very kind commission with the matter is Morara, and I wish to grant the court's statement. I'll pick it up from where my learned senior Mr. Otieno left it, and urge us to go straight to Article 25 of the Constitution on rights that cannot be limited, Your Honor. One of the rights that cannot be limited, and while all other rights can be limited, is the right to fair trial. That is under Article 25C of the Constitution. Very quickly, Your Honor, I will, with humility, invite the court to read that together with provisions of Article 52B, which my learned senior, where my learned senior left. 52B, is about the right of the accused person to be informed of the charge in sufficient detail to answer it. But, what has come out in the few minutes before, 50 sub Article 2B. It talks about what fair trial, all that is under Article 52, from 2A all through to 2, I believe J. 52A all through to 50Q, Your Honor, is what constitutes fair trial. Such that, Your Honor, we stand before you this morning or afternoon, the accused person is clearly not able to understand, Your Honor, what is responding to that. This is a provision, Your Honor, or this is a right, Your Honor, which cannot be limited. I invite God to find basis on those two articles, Your Honor, to reject the charge that have been read out. That's all from me.
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to say one or two things. Yes, Your Honor, my name is Eric Kuri. Your Honor, you've been referred to articles to refresh what has been stated. But Your Honor, so that you are not told that this court cannot deal with the questions of constitutional interpretation, Your Honor, I also wish to refer this court to the Criminal Procedure Code, and I would want to make reference to sections 135 with regard to the framing of charges. Section 135 with regards to the framing of charges. And Your Honor, it underpins the constitutional requirements that an accused person is entitled to sufficient information to be in a position to respond to the charges that are made against that person. Your Honor, second, you have the jurisdiction and the discretion under section 89 of the CPC to decline these charges if you are of the opinion, and Your Honor, we persuade you to be of this opinion, that the charge sheet before you does not insufficient material disclose a case to enable the accused person to take a plea. Honor, I'll finally say, and I think I have said this before, if we continue at this rate, we will have to seriously expand this court. Because you don't know what it would mean is that any statement that a person can make under the free speech that is guaranteed in this country. Sometimes, yes, I can say something that can be offensive, but does that constitute a crime? It's the danger that we face with this kind of and you know, for those reasons, and being that these courts are temples of justice, there are games that can be played out there. And you know, I think it is also important for me to say that this court has recognized, and the High Court, I think, has recognized the manner in which of late police have been conducting their arrests by way of abduction of those people they consider to be suspect. There is actually an order of the High Court that has directed that the police must comply with the law when it comes to effecting arrest. So when someone is abducted, like the accused was abducted, in clear contravention of a court order, and then he's brought here for the court to sanctify the actions, the illegal actions that have been undertaken. And the attempt to sanctify those actions does not meet what is contained in our laws in terms of the kind of charges that should be presented and accepted before the court. Your Honor, this court must remain what it is supposed to be, a court of law. We may not be able to stop the police in the manner in which they are behaving. But there must be a place where they know that they can play their little games outside there with the lives of each and every one of us, because it basically means that no one is safe. I can make a statement that it is deemed criminal. Let them know that those games will not be entertained within the corridors of justice. And so, Your Honor, I plead with this court that we must take all the circumstances of this case, and the circumstances of this case then explain the paucity in the charge sheet as has been presented before.
Will we call for a short adjournment so that the court is clear and the person has care? They need a short adjournment.
There are some other rooms on the other side that are bigger and more. No, no, this is the biggest. Wampeleke the other
Your Honor, it is the last time we appeared in court over this matter. The court had to buy me microphone. I was avoiding that because I don't want it to go on record. But it looks like, I mean, at a certain point, we may really need to think about fasting and whatever. The manner that we are. But Your Honor, what I was saying is that the circumstances of the arrest and then demonstrate why. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. So my final point was that even though it might appear to be an overreach, but this court must look at the circumstances of the arrest, and it will be able to understand that the intention here is for this court to be a convert. We abducted him, we were unable to. So, Your Honor, what I was saying is that this court is intended to be a convert. We abduct or we arrest without any probable cause. We look for any reason and we present a charge sheet and place it before the court. And the court then is supposed to be the one to sanctify, because Your Honor, the moment you accept this charge, and I think if it was a proper charge, we would have no problem, even though we would have known it is from. But the problem here is that, Your Honor, if you accept this charge sheet, especially as it is framed, and then even this court will eventually almost be on trial the way our police are on trial. Your Honor, for that reason, I'm noting that Mr. Morara had a young counsel that he had instructed. I would ask that you allow Mr. Somonka to just say one more thing, and then I know all of us would want to say something, but I recognize that you also need to write ruling and listen. Well, I'm being reminded it's also a
Your Honor, my name is Marema. I humbly and wholly appreciate the recognition of my land seniors, and I thank them for the knowledge that I've received in the past. However, there's one small thing that we haven't touched on. And briefly, that's to do with the framing of charges under Section 134 of the CPC, as read together with Section 135 of the Criminal Procedure Code, which dictates in mandatory terms that a charge must contain a statement of the specific offense in which the accused is charged, and enough information to demonstrate the nature of the offense. Much has been said about civil defamation. Civil defamation. However, in brief, Your Honor, if you see count, it refers to cyber harassment under Section 27 of the Computer and Misuse of Cyber Crimes Act. However, when you read the particulars of the offense, specifically line 4, knowingly without lawful cause, knowingly without lawful excuse, posted false information. That is another offense under the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act. Specifically Section 22 of the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act. If you go on further, Your Honor, they repeated the statement, false, again. And then lastly finished with calculated to tarnish and discredit. Calculated to tarnish and discredit the reputation of one David Morara. So, Your Honor, in brief, the question is Morara answering to the charge of cyber harassment or to the charge of publishing false information or civil or defamation? Your Honor, in brief, as I associated with my learned senior Counsel Eric Thori stated, I was with Morara when he was being arrested. The police refused to grant me access to Article 49, and there are orders that have been given by the High Court that the police ought to respect and ought to follow Article 49 of the Constitution. Some of those orders I personally obtained them from the High Court. Additionally, they did not disclose why they were arresting him or who they were. Some of them were masked. So, Your Honor, the question is, we are dealing with people.
All of us send a painting here. So please, just a request that you allow me to manage the crowd. I want to request everybody after the gentleman in the big camera. We're just going to ask you kindly to step out of the room. Otherwise, we can't face the Please, you can listen from outside. We have speakers. So we have now, if you have problems with that, we just have to wait. Because help comes first. Please, please. But I want to see you counsel speaking.
Oh, yes, yes, Your Honor. So,
because you can get, there's so many of us are sweating. You can get the smell of sweat. Very soon you don't come.
yes, Your Honor, I'll be brief. Your Honor, in
How
brief,
many more minutes will you take?
3-4 minutes.
Okay, please.
Your Honor, in brief, what we are witnessing here as a country is the weaponization of the criminal judicial process against a young man who, against all odds, stood up to speak the truth. And the truth has hurt many people who are currently in power. That truth has altered the status quo.
Sorry, you are not a witness. You are yet to take plea.
But in brief, Your Honor, history is being made, and I invite this honorable court to stand on the right side of history by quashing these charges and releasing the accused person on personal bond. He is a young person, he is a young person. To release, to free him from this charge. And lastly, as his personal lawyer, I want to thank him for actually believing in a young person. Fellow Gen Z, Your Honor. Fellow Gen Z. And we will stand with him to be
May the court afford exactly 1.5 minutes. My name is Chiel Bentley. It's a privilege to appear before you, Your Honor, in this matter. And just to add to what has been said, the constitutional justification for the cause of action we are requesting you to take. If you look at Article 24, it is a balancing act that the court must strike. And the court must look at the least restrictive alternative. In this case, Your Honor, there is an alternative for the complainant. That alternative is called the Defamation Act. It's sufficient to address any reputational damages. And so there will be justice for the complainant, whichever, if you make the decision we are requesting you to make. And the other one is in Article 23A. That article obligates this court to adopt Article 20 Sabbatical 3A. You know, this court cannot interpret the Constitution. That jurisdiction belongs to the High Court. However, this court, as a constitutional organ, must apply the Constitution. And when you look at Article 23A, it requires this court and all tribunals to adopt the interpretation that most favors the enjoyment of rights. In this case, Morara's right to freedom of speech, especially on the issues he's speaking about. So, Your Honor, there's sufficient legal basis for you to find that this charge does not disclose a criminal case, and that the remedy, alternative remedy of defamation is sufficient. Thank you so much.
Your Honor, perhaps before the prosecution responds. Only one about the charge sheet, because it will become relevant for them in response. Only one. Perhaps, Your Honor, to just disclose the bad faith in which this matter has been instituted. That the charge sheet itself is indicating erroneous dates when our client was arrested. We say that they arrested him today. And the fact is that they arrested him yesterday. They have a duty to disclose all the material facts, and there is a reason why the CPC requires a date of arrest to be indicated on a charge sheet. Eventually, Your Honor, when you seek to retire, kindly order the DCI office, and this is the DCI himself, to release 3 phones and 1 laptop belonging to our client as we discharge him. Most obliged.
even though we just have a brief response. Maybe it will just start off it's the first time I'm seeing Mr. Ndegwanjiru very calm. It is unlike him. Your Honor, just in brief response, in terms of arrest, it is true the accused person was arrested yesterday and has been produced in court within the required time limit.
Your name for the record?
Undimu. And has been produced in court within the required time limit. In terms of access to counsel, I did confirm with the officers that he was allowed access to counsel, and the counsel who was allowed was Mr. Ndegwanjiru. And in fact, Mr. Ndegwanjiru did appear at our office today morning. We confirmed that the charge sheet will be brought. He was accompanied by 2 other counsels, though they declined my invitation. Your Honor, in terms of the charge sheet, the CPC is very clear that a charge sheet must contain 2 critical elements. That is the statement of the offense and the particulars of the charge. Your Honor, my colleagues, my senior colleagues and junior colleagues have not disputed that there is a statement of the offense and the particulars. The contention, especially my senior colleagues have raised, is what is harassment? Your Honor, I look at that particular act, the Computer Nuisance and Cyber Crimes Act. It does not in any way define what harassment is. Harassment takes various forms. For one to draw a conclusion that harassment has occurred. The particulars in the charge I have clearly informed the accused person of the accusation that he is facing. And what my colleagues are asking you to do is to go to the substance and the merits of the charges, to go to the evidential material. As at this point, Your Honor,
just one.
As at this point, what court ought to consider that the particulars of the charge have sufficiently informed the accused person of the accusation against him, which in our humble view are sufficient to enable him respond to the charges. To delve into other issues, Your Honor, would be going to the merits and demerits of the particular matter. I do understand the constitutional issue that have been raised by my senior colleagues. And those issues cannot be raised as at this point. The only purpose we are here for today is purposes of the charge sheet, whether it has statement of the offense and the particulars of the offense, and other considerations. Refer this court to section 137 of the CPC. on the last point that Mr. Ndegwa has raised on the issue of the 3 phones and 1 laptop. I undertake to follow up the issue with the investigating officer to find out if they are interested in the material or the same should be released to the accused person. And undertake to inform him before the closure of business today as to what the response of the investigating officer has been. Luckily, I have Mr. Ndegwa's number. And also Mr. Eric Theuri. Surprisingly, the squatter from Tuapa has not spoken. I'm sure he will respond.
Your Honor, I have been invited by my colleague from the DPP. Let the record reflect that my name is Morara, Law Society of Kenya Vice President. Vice President. I put a rejoinder at the end. Thank you so much.
We only respond to the issue of the charge sheet. The other issue are more constrained, as at this point this court only ought to consider whether the statement of the offense meets the legal criteria and whether the particulars of the offense have contained sufficient details. And I've gone to the issue of the harassment.
Martha Karua, SC, leading the defense team. Just to remind the court that our plea is that the charge be dismissed or rejected as defective under 89.5 of the CPC. Our submissions by the various councils point to that direction in adequate words. And it is important that the court only invites the accused to plead to a charge that discloses a course of action. And we have shown the mismatch between the offense charge and the particulars. I need not go beyond that. But when you retire to make a ruling, should you require more time, we urge you to consider releasing Mr. Morara, who is, I'm informed, is an officer of this court, on a personal board. He is, I'm informed he's not an officer of the court, but he is a person who is well known, has a fixed abode in town, and he is not a flight risk. You may consider releasing him on a personal bond, because we must not encourage the behavior of the police of punishing people in advance of appearing before the court. By punishing, I mean detention, unnecessary detention. He is a person who can actually be released on free bond. And we are many, and we will make sure he appears.
I think that should bring it to a close. So you want to bring in this part?
That will be the best approach, but we understand that you may have to read and do some research, and it may not be possible. That is why my learned senior counsel Martha asked that if that be the case, we can ask Mr. Morara to be admitted to free bond, and as his counsels we
Sorry,
undertake.
Mr. Tieno, now you're out of one. The environment is not conducive. I think I should release it now.
Yes.
The best way to do that is to preserve the ruling.
They will still come tomorrow.
Yeah, but
Hatoe kitu.
Senior counsel, what has your plan to do? Or what terms would you consider appropriate?
He is a businessman and he is a very well-known, active and engaged citizen.
Sounds funny.
And he's also a lawyer waiting to be admitted. I actually thought he was already admitted. That's why I'm saying officer.
So he can afford cash bail of 1 million.
Yeah.
Bond of 1 million. That's in order. Otherwise,
how much cash bail is he able to
Free bond.
free bond of 1 million.
Your Honor, maybe Your Honor, just before you pen off, my colleagues have made submissions on the issue of bail. I just wanted to go on record that we are not objecting to bail. Maybe on condition that my Vice President ensures that he reports to the investigating officer whenever he's required.
So today's first, what has to skip tomorrow, you come on 3rd of October. Sorry, no, 3rd of October. You come tomorrow at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Yes.
Is that Thursday?
Wednesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Oh, okay. The court, Your Honor is proposing Thursday, the 3rd, or tomorrow, the 2nd?
Morning. Sorry, the 3rd of October.
Could we go to 4? Could we go to 4 that will give you enough time? In the morning.
See, I'm already confused. So, moving on the application to be delivered on 4th of October this year at 2 p.m.
Morning.
I know why I'm saying 2. I have a very long hearing at the moment. And the accused person is granted cash bail of Kenya shillings 50,000 with one contact person to appear before the court on 4th of October this year.
Why not free?
Contact just comes with a name.
Your Honor, may I just take this opportunity on behalf of all the advocates to thank the court for the indulgence. And of course, I must recognize that my good friend, Mr. Dama, although he sneaked into town and has not yet performed the usual rituals for us to welcome him into the has behaved as graciously as he always has. We understand that they are operating under very difficult circumstances. But Your Honor, we want to just say thank you for your indulgence and we'll see you on
Thank you. Enjoy your day. We are still here, so if you feel like moving out, please do so peacefully.
Sorry guys, I was shaking because we had a lot of people, so I could have not.